I'm joined at this hour by Somdev Dev Varman, the former Indian Davis Cup professional and a contemporary of Sania Mirza, to talk about this big decision that Sania has made an announcement of. Som, thank you very much for joining us. Big moment, Sania saying that this will be her last season on the circuit. How has the Indian tennis circuit reacted to this? Because this had come out of the blue.
Yes, unfortunately, all good things do come to an end. With Sania particularly, I think, this decision was coming. We have to keep in mind that Sania is an absolute world champion. She was #1 in the world at what she did. And, so I feel like if when she does want to play at the slams, she does want to compete at the slams, she wants to compete for them, not just to be a participant. And so, if she feels like she can't put the kind of training that she needs to for, various reasons with commitments and the pandemic and things like that, I think, the fact that she probably wanted to, call it a day soon, that decision was coming, unfortunately. And then she mentioned that she had a tough time with training in December, so a few injuries, unfortunately part of the game. As you get older, things do get a little harder.
Now, Som, Sania, of course, played better today than she played yesterday. She won her first round match at the mixed doubles. Do you see that she is mentally and physically aligned to last the season?
All the way, it's too early to tell. I think she'll be the first one to tell you, especially in mixed doubles. It's no ad scoring, 10-point tiebreaker in the third set. Anything can happen. Today they won 6-3, 7-6, but had the last 10 minutes of the match not gone their way, they could have been trouble. So I mean, we've seen that happen in doubles a lot. I will say this: she knows how to pick her partners. She's playing with Rajeev Ram, who's #4 in the world in doubles right now, but also won last year's Aussie and 2019 as well. So and it's also somebody she's very comfortable playing with. In the past we've seen her succeed with partners that she's Rajeev is a very close friend of all of us. And so I know that she's having a good time off court. And she, now that she has announced this, today's performance in comparison to yesterday's was night and day. I thought she played very high level today. She looked very focused, very determined, and she played some solid tennis, especially when it mattered. So listen, let's not get ahead of ourselves, one step at a time. But she has done really well, and hopefully she can continue.
You mentioned about Rajeev Ram. Do you think that her choice of partner, which is Rajeev Ram, puts her one step ahead in her quest for winning a slam in her last season on the circuit?
I mean, she said this is her last year. She didn't say this was her last tournament, but yes, playing with Rajeev is, I mean, listen, the guy's playing world-class tennis. He could potentially become the #1 doubles player in the world if the right things happen at the Aussie Open. If he wins, a few people lose, and very good mixed doubles player. He's been playing really well from the ad court, complementing Sania, who's, played her whole career on the deuce and is world-class there. So, yes, her and Rajeev, I think, formidable team.
Now, let me ask you about your favorite Sania Mirza moment, because both of you have been contemporaries.
Listen, I was around when she wasn't a star yet. We played juniors together, 12s, 14s, 16s, in the South Zone. I played in Chennai, she played in Hyderabad. And I remember I was around when she won her first junior Wimbledon with Alisa Klebanova in 2003. I was around with the rest of the Indian teammates, Karan Rastogi, Sana Bamri, Sania, all four of us traveled together. And I remember, going to Wimbledon, all of us we weren't really contenders, but Sania found a way to go out there, step by step. Before you knew it, she was a champion. And at that time, I think all of us looked at each other and we knew that there was something special in the making. She had the it factor. She was special. And then, I think after that, the fact that she won the WTA Tour title in Hyderabad, which kind of propelled her up the singles rankings, and then she was 27 in the world. I think for me those early moments really paved the way for the future greatness. You know, the fact that she was always a great doubles player, you know, from the time she was young. I mean, still winning Grand Slams is obviously unbelievable, but those early moments of seeing that, you know, brilliance shine through, seeing how she loved the big occasion, Wimbledon finals, you know, finals at her hometown in front of a packed crowd against, you know, top class players and finding a way to beat them, you know, I think those were very special to me.
Her career took a new turn playing with Martina Hingis, in fact, in the doubles. Now, Som, let's talk about the Australian Open. It started with a lot of bad publicity over Novak Djokovic's visa. Would you say the tournament itself has lost its sheen?
I wouldn't go that far. You know, it's obviously unfortunate what's happened with, you know, with the entire visa situation and Novak, the whole saga. I think the way it went down was far from ideal. You know, but you know, the tournament still goes on. I think Rafa said it best. He said, "No players bigger than tennis, no players bigger than the tournament." It's certainly unfortunate. You know, I think it would have been incredible to see Novak out there, given the situation with the history of tennis currently. The fact that, you know, he's on 20 with Roger and Rafa. And Rafa is healthy again. You know, I think the drama in that would have been unbelievable. And me being a tennis fan, I would have loved to see it. But it's unfortunate. But, you know, life moves on. The tournament for me is still unbelievable. You know, you can't take away credit from the tournament organizers, the tournament directors. Australia is one of those places that's always gone above and beyond to, you know, be the happy slam, be the players slam. You know, they were always the first to respond when the players always, you know, requested for things like, you know, equal prize money or, you know, new locker rooms, new facilities, you know, new gyms, new ice baths. So if you even now compare the Australian Open to the other four slams, just in terms of the upgrade of facilities requested by the players over the years, even from the time when I was playing till I stopped and now, I mean, it's immense. So I think, you know, credit has to go where credit is due. And unfortunately, this situation was not in the hands of the tournament.
Right. You mentioned about Rafael Nadal and the kind of impact he has had on the tournament. Would you say this is Nadal's tournament to lose? He is looking for his 21st slam.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I think, listen, if you know Rafa at all, you know he's not looking at the semis and the finals. He's always, you know, 1 point at a time, one step at a time, and certainly one match at a time. So from Rafa's perspective, I think, you know, he said it himself. He would prefer not being on the same half as Djokovic, and I guess in a weird way his desires have come true, but he still has a lot of work cut out for him, you know, because he hasn't really played a whole lot of tennis in 21, coming off, you know, a whole lot of different injuries, you know, just played the one tournament in the fall in America and then had to call it because of a foot injury. So from that time to now, he's kind of been in rest, recovery, and then in training. Then he had COVID. So far from ideal, you know, pre-Grand Slam preparation for Rafa. But, you know, he seems like he's, you know, finding his stride. He's playing good tennis. He hasn't lost serve yet in the first 2 rounds, which is a really good sign.
Well, he has been in supreme form coming into this tournament. In fact, Som, let me ask you one final question. Who are your favourites to win this year's Australian Open title, both in the men's and in the women's singles?
In the men's, I would say Medvedev. It's hard to look past him. He's the highest ranked player left in the draw. And in the top half, you'd probably have to say Rafa, although Zverev is playing well and Zverev is ranked higher right now. So it's between these three, but if I had to pick two, I'd say Rafa and Medvedev. In the women's, you know, the top half is really hard because Osaka and Bhatia currently set for a clash in the 4th round. So one of those two probably to come through from the top half. And the bottom half, I mean, it's really open. It's an opportunity half the way I see it. I would say probably Iga Swiatek. She's playing really well. She's kind of cruising through her matches, and she's shown that, you know, when she's hitting her forehand and hitting her serve well, she's really hard to deal with. So, you know, even though Sabalenka is still alive, I think she's having troubles with her serve right now. So I think I would put, you know, Iga Swiatek up there.
Well, interesting choices there. Thank you very much, Som, for joining us on the broadcast with those thoughts.